The gun debate, political cartoons, directions. We had some fantastic discussion debating the Second Amendment in class this past week. Answer the following questions that the cartoons address while watching the YouTube movie as we go along. While you may not agree with all of the cartoons, it's important to understand the point of the author and their message. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first political cartoon. So our first cartoon says, pick the well-regulated militia. It's got a Minuteman on the left with a musket. It looks like a pretty honest feller. And then on the right, we've got a civilian, and it says hundreds of rounds per Minuteman. Let's take a look at the question and figure out what we need to do to solve this one. Well-regulated militia cartoon. The Second Amendment guarantees the right of a well-regulated militia to bear arms. What point is the author making by comparing a well-regulated militia in the 1770s versus his interpretation of a well-regulated militia in the present day? Provide at least 3 examples from the cartoon. Hint, focus on the characteristics of each person and the type of weapon they are holding. So how has the interpretation of a well-regulated militia changed over time? After you're done answering the first question, let's take a look at the cartoon called Gun Control for Dummies. Picture on the left is what society was like before we had tougher gun laws, making it harder for people to get guns. The cartoon on the right is after gun control has been implemented. And notice how the implementation of gun control has affected our society. And now let's go ahead and try and answer the question. What's the message behind this cartoon? What is different after gun control was implemented in the cartoon on the right? Maybe not so much what's different, but what is missing? Okay? How does society look after it makes it tougher for people to get guns? How is society different after gun control? Put your answer in the box. Guns and ammo. We're going to do this one a little bit differently this time and look at the question first. When you look at the cartoon, I want you to see if you can notice what is the message behind this cartoon. We spoke volumes in class about how current background checks only target criminals. So what's the point of this political cartoon? Let's take a look. So taking a look at this cartoon, we're at a store called Guns and Ammo, and the caption says, "What's with the guy in the funny hat?" And remember, the point was background checks target criminals. But take a look at who's in line here. Who are the first 3 people in line? And is there anything that you notice about them versus the last person in line that looks kind of, I don't know, he looks different than the rest in some way. Let's figure out let's see what you can come up with. Your last question, critical thinking. In our class, we discussed some possible ways to prevent mass shootings with assault weapons or other types of guns. Some of those methods to stop violence were a limit on high-capacity magazines or clips, an assault weapons ban, tougher background checks, and ways to prevent those with mental illness to purchase firearms. In your opinion, is there a middle ground to gun control? Why or why not? What would you propose, if anything? Explain and defend your answer. So, do we need tougher gun laws? Or should we have less gun laws? Now's your time to voice your opinion, and hopefully this sets you up for your project to come.